Hi Lee, welcome to episode 2 of the show. We had a lot of excitement last weekend, the UK Online Championships.
Absolutely fantastic, wasn't it? I played in it myself, didn't have the best of run, but what a fantastic number of runners.
Yeah, 236 runners generating just under $12,000. Probably a record for an APAT online event, and a pretty high quality event, I thought, and a very interesting final table.
Oh, well, it was quite good to say the least, wasn't it? I believe the Genie 87 was star of the show, Des, is that right?
Yeah, the Genie 87, he came in with 500,000 chips. He was effectively the chip leader after 4.5 hours, as we arrived at the final table. And he was rather sucked out on when his pair of aces lost to a King 10. But he was then fortunate in a couple of hands to follow. I don't know if you saw those.
Yeah, I think that was his Queen 5 up against Queen 10. And then he rivered a flush, didn't he, against a pair of aces?
He did. It has to be said, though, he really dominated play from there on in. And I've heard one or two players who sat with him earlier on in the tournament, talk about him on forums and stuff. And, apparently he is a really good player and, deserving of the title. We're going to be seeing him in Walsall in early February for the UK Amateur event, and I actually caught up with Matt Roberts, that is the Genie 87, a little earlier in the week, just to talk about his final table in particular.
Congratulations, Matt. How did it feel to win the event?
It was great to win the event, to beat all of them other people playing in it. It went pretty well all the way through, really, and luckily in the end I managed to come out on top.
Absolutely. You reached the final table as chip leader, but you lost a big hand early with aces versus bad calls King 10. How did that hand affect your game plan?
It was a bit of a shock, really, because I was playing pretty well before that and I'd been around the chip lead for quite a while. And when that happened, I kind of changed my game a bit because the blinds are quite big and obviously I was then quite low, so I had to start thinking about maybe trying to push more often, keep trying to pick up the blinds.
The hand that I guess is getting most conversation is the Queen 5 hand against Club Reb Scotty. How did you see that hand playing out?
Well, I raised it first, and then with Queen 5 of hearts, I think, and he called with Queen 10. With the blinds that big, I thought, well, probably it's not the best call ever. But then when the board came with an ace and 6 and a 6, I thought, well, I was hoping to represent the ace, so I just pushed. And then I thought he made a bad call, really, with a flush draw on a paired board like that. So, and in the end, I did get lucky in the end, but I suppose that's the game, isn't it?
And from there on, you just seemed to raise every pot. Did you feel the title was yours at this stage?
I thought it was mine when I won with King Jack versus aces.
Yeah.
After that point, I just kept trying to raise every hand, really. So I noticed everyone else had started to tighten up a bit and just saw the opportunity to get a really big chip stack with about only 3 or 4 players left and then try and win it from there, really.
Yeah, it was very, very impressive. You've chosen to go to the GUKPT event in Walsall. Will we see the same sort of domineering style of poker there?
The opportunity arises, I'd always like to play aggressively, but it just depends on the table I'm at and the kind of players who are there as well, really.
What type of tournaments do you generally play, Matt? I mean, how does this result rank in your record thus far?
Yeah, it's a good result. I've had a few other results around the same kind of money, but yeah, it's obviously winning such a prestigious event on the APAT, the first one of the year and things. It was obviously a good win for me, and especially with the added bonus of the UKPT seat, it was probably one of my best wins so far, yeah.
Lee, we're adding a new section to the show this week. We're going to call this Spider Pig, and what we're looking for is the player who's clung on, through sort of a large tournament to win a big prize, to bring home the bacon, as it were. An example would be Laxi. Laxi just over the Christmas period won a deep stack event that took somewhere in the region of 14 hours or something. So an incredible fighting performance.
I believe she even had a couple of railers all the way to the end, Des.
Yeah, she absolutely did. And I guess that's what we're looking for from this. We're looking for APAT members who have performed well online to get on the forum and to just tell us about it. And the one that we think is the most compelling story, we will give the Spider Pig Award to in this show. So this week, I think we found an obvious candidate.
Yeah, there's an absolute definite one, Des. I mean, he posted this at 4:45 in the morning, and it was George Toulouse actually who beat over 2,500 runners in a PokerStars tournament.
Now, George is going to be in Walsall for the UK Amateur Championship event in early Feb, but I caught up with him a little earlier today to talk about his win. So over to you, George.
Yeah, I'd got back from Brighton yesterday, a little bit disappointed, played the GUKPT events, didn't last too long, decided to play a few tournaments online, the last of which was a $10 rebuy at 9 PM, and I managed to win it.
Fantastic. This was on Stars.
Yes, it was, yeah, the $10 rebuy, I think it's 70k guaranteed, I was only in for $30, which was good as well, so spent the minimum, won the maximum.
Fantastic. So what prize did you take, George?
It was $14,500.
Wow, that's a great start to 2009.
Yeah, and it's a good sign for Walsall coming up as well. I managed to win my seat to that last week, so I'm really looking forward to that as well.
Absolutely. I mean, there are a lot of very well-known names in Walsall, you amongst them. How have you found 2008 and sort of going into 2009 on the back of your Gala Tour win?
To be honest with you, I had a rough couple of, rough 3 months at the end of the year. Couldn't get deep in a tournament, couldn't win a race, etc. But 2009 started really well for me. I had a decent cash on Stars last week as well. And I've been playing a lot better recently. Sometimes bad run of cards can affect the way you play.
Yeah, and you've got your blog up and running again, I see.
Yeah, I sort of launched it on the back of my Gala win and never updated it. But I'm going to hopefully be posting at least once a week on there now, just with what I'm doing, where I'm playing, and my views on certain tournaments, etc.
Fantastic, George. Well, listen, we look forward to catching up with you in Walsall, and obviously good luck between now and then and for the rest of the year.
Cheers, Des. I'll see you in Walsall.
Lee, I want to talk about blogs if possible. I've become very interested in Roberto's blog. It's called It's a Fresh Beginning, and this has really caught my imagination because he opens the blog by saying, I'm staying away from poker, I'm having a break, and I think it's because he's got a girlfriend, he's moving in with her. I mean, it's all sort of good, but the blog is fantastic reading because on the Monday he talks about making soup. So he likes cooking, and he's not going to play poker, so he's made soup on Monday. On Tuesday he's played PlayStation 3 games all day long. On Wednesday he's watched football. Unfortunately, he broke on Thursday. He went back to play some poker, but he stayed away from No Limit Hold'em. Now, I haven't read today's blog. I hope he can stay away from No Limit Hold'em, but this is just providing great amusement to me. Have you read this blog?
Well, I have actually. Roberto is actually he's one of the North London poker guys, so and he's actually been coming more and more on the forum lately, and it's quite a bizarre. I kind of see it as a bit of an experiment, Des. I don't know about you.
I think it's definitely an experiment because if he stopped playing poker to see more of his girlfriend, well, I can't see where he's seeing her and all of that.
So it looks like we're on a situation now where we're not playing Hold'em, but it looks like he's listed stud, Omaha, draw, pot limit Omaha, six max, sit and goes, cash 7, card stud, everything else you can possibly find.
Well, I admire a man with a bit of heart. And another question that I would ask, I mean, I'm forever interested in where people's online names come from. And Roberto, of course, is an interesting one. I mean, I could imagine that maybe he signed up for a poker site one night as, something heroic like Ivanhoe, and he woke up to the bad news in the morning that, in fact, he was Roberto.
It's possible, isn't it? It always makes me laugh how some people do come up with their names. I assumed it had something to do with his first name being Robert, but I may be wrong.
Absolutely,
yes.
I'm making a joke. Robert's a lovely guy. Love his blog. He's been a great contributor at APAT over the last couple of months. So good luck in your quest, Robert. Hopefully, we'll see you back in February playing No Limit Hold'em for the league. But in the interim, good luck with your girlfriend and your many other variations of poker.